Many games have remnants of early scrapped content hidden in their data, and Pokemon Colosseum is no exception. Unfortunately, Colosseum doesn't have any really substantial unused content, mainly just a few lines of text. Now, this text does imply a few interesting things were planned, but there's no actual concrete remnants of unused Shadow Pokemon or battles, just text referring to them. Before we get into the truly unused content though, I want to discuss region-specific content, because Colosseum actually has quite a lot of this. The first is something I have no doubt many of you have been waiting for me to cover, the bonus disc. This disc was given to people who pre-ordered Pokemon Colosseum, and it contained three things. A quick preview video of Colosseum itself. I really don't know why you'd put in a preview of a game that someone's already pre-ordered anyway, but oh well. A preview of the anime movie Jirachi Wishmaker, which went straight to video in America around the same time Colosseum came out. And the most notable feature, the ability to transfer a Jirachi to a Game Boy Advance copy of Ruby or Sapphire. To do this, you needed to connect a Game Boy Advance game to the GameCube using a GameCube to GBA link cable. But other than that, there were no restrictions on receiving Jirachi apart from the fact that each individual copy of the game could only receive Jirachi once. You could give Jirachi to as many copies of Ruby or Sapphire as you wanted, you could give it regardless of how far you'd progress within those games, and you didn't even need to own Colosseum to transfer Jirachi. So, you're probably expecting me to show footage from this disc, aren't you? Well, guess what? We didn't get it here in Australia! Yay! Yep, this bonus disc was in fact America exclusive. And during the days of Gen 3, Nintendo had pretty much decided to never give Australia any Nintendo events. Well, almost. You see, there was still hope for us to get Jirachi, but we had to do it through a different game. The European and Australian versions of Pokemon Channel allowed you to transfer a Jirachi to as many copies of Ruby or Sapphire as you wanted after you'd beat the quote-unquote game. Yes, there was actually a reason to play Channel in Europe and Australia. Apart from this Jirachi's OT being Channel rather than Wishmaker, it was in all respects identical to the American Colosseum bonus disc Jirachi. So hey, at least they threw us a bone there. Sadly though, this was the only event Pokemon Australia would ever receive during the Generation 3 era. Wasn't it great being a Pokemon fan in Australia during the early 2000s? Despite the fact that I can't show footage of it, there's one thing that I want to talk about regarding this bonus disc, and it's that for some reason, the event is fully compatible with Fire Red and Leaf Green, as well as Ruby and Sapphire. However, the code also checks to see whether the game receiving Jirachi is Ruby or Sapphire, and if it's not, it blocks the transfer. If you use hacking to remove this code, however, the bonus disc works perfectly fine with Fire Red and Leaf Green, not Emerald though. It feels like this bonus disc was more made to promote the movie rather than to have anything to do with Colosseum. Another fun fact about Australia, if Bulbapedia is to be believed, Australia didn't even get Jirachi Wishmaker until a DVD release in 2016. We skipped straight from Pokemon Heroes to Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Again, Gen 3 was a great time to be a Pokemon fan in Australia. Japan, however, got a different bonus disc, and this one was a lot more relevant to Colosseum. This bonus disc contained a lot more previews. Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire, Donkey Konga, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Donkey Kong Country, presumably the GBA version, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Mario Kart Double Dash, and Mario Party 5. It also let you obtain prizes based on your Pokecoupon title in Pokemon Colosseum, but mainly contained two event Pokemon. The first was a Pikachu with a light ball, and the second was Celebi. Yeah, many of you have been asking if you could obtain Celebi in this game. You can, but only in Japan and only if you pre-ordered the game. Unlike the Jirachi bonus disc, this one did require you to have played Pokemon Colosseum. In fact, it required you to have purified all 48 Shadow Pokemon. It would then let you transfer Celebi to Pokemon Colosseum, and after that, you could transfer 48 additional Celebis to any Japanese Game Boy Advance Pokemon games you wanted. Some content from the Japanese bonus disc was left in the American version of Colosseum though. Bits of it were partially translated. Via an action replay code, you can even get the event to work, and find out that the Celebi's OT is listed as agates, which makes sense. In the European/Australian version of the game, which is the version I have, this event is far less stable. You can still hack it in with an action replay code, but all the text is missing and the graphics are all garbled. So that's all I want to say about the bonus discs for the game, but there is one more bit of interesting content that remained exclusive to Japan. The e-reader room. Yes, that's right, this game had e-reader functionality in Japan. After you beat the main storyline of Colosseum, a new room opened up inside Phoenix Stadium. There, by attaching an e-reader to a Game Boy Advance, connecting it to the GameCube with a GameCube to GBA link cable, and scanning in special Pokemon Colosseum Double Battle e-cards, you could battle virtual trainers in the e-reader Colosseum. There were a total of 24 of these e-cards released, and they were divided into 4 sets: red, green, blue, and yellow. Each set contained 5 trainers and 1 stadium card that would change the background from the default Fennec to other Colosseums like Pyrite or the Under. The trainers were divided into 3 difficulty levels: easy, medium, and difficult. But the real point of interest here was not those trainers, but what happened when you beat every trainer of a certain difficulty. This would cause a real trainer to walk into the room and battle you. These 3 trainers, 1 for each difficulty, all had a new Shadow Pokemon for you to snag. The easy trainer had a Shadow Togepi, and the medium trainer had a Shadow Mareep. This feels very strange to me, as you already get a Shadow Togetic and a Shadow Flaffy in the main story. I'm not going to give these 2 bios because we've already seen their evolutions. However, I am going to give a bio to the hard trainer's Shadow Pokemon because it's a little unique. Yes, the final Japan exclusive Pokemon, freaking Scizor. So no doubt many of you know how terrifying Scizor is. However, back in Gen 3, Scizor wasn't quite as terrifying as it was today. It was one of those great stats, bad move pool Pokemon. Scizor boasts a fantastic attack stat, combined with a good defense stat and decent HP and special defense, making it strong and bulky, although a little bit slow. It can also boost itself up with Swords Dance, making it hit even harder. The problem is, in Gen 3, Scizor did not have very many good attacking moves. Metal Claw and Steel Wing are sadly some of the best things it has. The best non-hidden power bug move it had access to was Silver Wind, and even then, this Scizor can't get that because it's an egg move. So it's stuck with Fury Cutter for Bug Stab. Yeah. Despite its awful move pool, Scizor's stats are so good that they can pretty much carry it. It's still a great Pokemon, just not nearly the omnipresent terror it would become later down the line. Oh, and Swarm is its only ability in Gen 3, no Technician yet. And also Bullet Punch didn't exist. Something I want to quickly point out, because a lot of people take this for granted because they consider Gen 4 as one whole thing. Scizor did not get Bullet Punch until Platinum. In Diamond and Pearl, Scizor was still not that fantastic because it suffered from bad move pool. So instead of saying Scizor got its big break in Gen 4, it's more accurate to say it's got its big break in Platinum, halfway through Gen 4. Also, know that 100% male under Scizor's gender is not a typo. Scizor can normally be female, but this Shadow Scizor is locked into being male to prevent people from breeding for Scyther before Fire Red and Leaf Green came out. All 3 of these Shadow Pokemon do add towards the number of Shadow Pokemon you've snagged, though I don't believe they're required to get Celebi. Now obviously, since the e-reader was a complete flop outside of Japan, they decided to remove this room from the international versions. However, the room itself is still in the game's data, and in the American version at least, some text from it is partially translated, which would imply they did consider implementing this at one point. Also, if you happen to own a Japanese e-reader and the Japanese e-cards, it's actually fully compatible with the American version of Colosseum, provided that you can action replay your way into the e-card room. Unfortunately, once again, us Europeans and Australians aren't so lucky. The European version of Colosseum cut support for the e-reader entirely, Japanese or not. so even if you action replay yourself into the room, you won't be able to do anything there. So that's all the region-exclusive content in this game. Now on to the actual proper unused content, of which there isn't very much. The main thing of note is a bunch of additional emails from Nets. Now remember how in the post-game you start getting emails saying that he's completed more of the Shadow Pokemon list. There are a few unused variants on these emails. All of them list several Shadow Pokemon, most of which are obtainable within the game, but a few of which aren't. These Shadow Pokemon are Minun, which would have been great with the Plusle that you get from King, Spoink, Boltoy, Castform, Psyduck, Teddiursa, Wobbuffet, Wailmer, Porygon 2, which would have been awesome, Xatu, and Whiscash. There was also a Shadow Magcargo mentioned instead of Slugma, implying that you originally found it a bit later in the game and in its evolved form. Apart from just the name dropping, there's nothing else in the game's data relating to these Pokemon at all. No unused physical Pokemon, no unused trainers to use them, nothing, just the names. There's also a string of 3 emails that refer to a Shadow Kecleon. The way these emails are worded implies this would have been another post-game quest, and that you have to chase a trainer who had the Shadow Kecleon through various different locations. There are also a couple of unused trainer names, Hunter Rete, Maples the Riddle Lover, who for some reason I get the feeling they were supposed to be in Agate Village, but that's just a guess on my part, and Shadow Grass Pokemon King. There's exactly one non-email bit of unused text that might refer to this person. Chimecho isn't a grass Pokemon, it's a psychic Pokemon. My guess is this was an early idea for the person who would eventually become the Deep King. Apart from him using a Chimecho, we know nothing else about him. There's also a reference to 6 Shadow Apom siblings. Now bear in mind, this might not mean what you think it means. Cypher is actually called Shadow in Japanese, so this is probably referring to 6 members of Cypher that possibly dress like Apom, rather than 6 individual Shadow Apoms. I think it's likely that this concept was retooled into the Hexagon brothers in Pokemon XD. And that's all. Yeah, Colosseum doesn't really have that much in the way of unused content, but I hope you found this lesson in the region-exclusive content interesting. Not a lot of people know that the bonus disc was an America-only thing. With that, I'll see you next time for Mount Battle. And man, I wish the Shadow Porygon 2 was in this game.